What's going on, everyone? So, on today's episode of PGL's Garage, it's a little different. You guys can tune in, you can leave. I just want to stream it. Just want to show you guys that my other big hobby is PCs. I'm a huge PC guy. I love building PCs, custom rigs, pretty much anything and everything under the world of PCs. I'm a big PC guy. So this is a brand new case that we got for my wife. It's a Corsair 4000D Airflow. It's a pretty cool case. Here's like the mini version of the exact same case. It's a cool case too, but it's too small. My wife's, all the stuff that's inside of it is just way too packed, and I just don't like it. So I'm gonna change it up for her. Gonna give the PC way better airflow. Number one. Number two, just more room to expand and grow. And I can show you guys what I mean by how much. There's like no space in this thing. If I was just gonna game and that's it, this would be a perfect case for that. But it's jam packed, and it's just everything barely fits. So this uses a cooler a Corsair H100i Pro RGB cooler, whatever you want to call it now. It's a pretty cool all-in-one cooler. What's going on, Dove Invasion? XFX Radeon 590 Fat Boy. So this is a pretty cool card. My wife doesn't game very much, so this is a great card for her. We pretty much built this as a workstation for her so she can crunch numbers. I also use it for editing video. When I'm working on one machine, I move over to her machine for video editing. I go back and forth between both machines. Reason why is just for time, completely for time's sake. So again, it's a pretty packed machine. You can see like the video card sits right next to the cooler. I don't like that. Everything is really close to each other, and the new case that we're using kind of opens it up by another 2 inches almost everywhere on the chassis, even away from the glass. It's just a much wider platform, so it's just, I think personally, just a way better overall case for her. And for my personal peace of mind, I'm not a big fan of really compact cases because, number one, heat doesn't airflow is not the best for these small tiny cases, especially when you have one fan legitimately just completely blocked. It just pumps air down here, but there's a case here, so it's kind of counterproductive, I think. And this is another reason why I don't like this case. Wire management is pretty much maxed out back here. It is pretty gnarly. I mean, even with the Commander Pro, and one SSD, and then 2 mechanical drives down here, and our power supply. Everything's really packed, really tight. I mean, even my wire management skills pretty dang good, and it's still jam packed. So I gotta fix this. I gotta make sure this is a much better solution for her. So we're gonna take it all apart and then swap it over to the new case. So it's pretty cool, pretty easy to take apart. Always start with the back whenever you take apart a whole build. Pretty much all your fans, any power connectors that connect to anything important or vital have to be disconnected. Zip ties. So anything that needs to be cut, take your time. Don't like rush your cutting, because then you can end up cutting something you're not supposed to. mean, the good thing is that these are all basic wires, non-resistance based. So if you do cut a wire, it's a really easy fix. Just take your time. Okay, we're all good down here. Alright, so everything now is pretty much unplugged in just a moment. There we go. Everything's officially unplugged. So now with everything unplugged, on the back, okay, start removing the quick and easy components so you don't just start yanking things out, because again, you can tangle something. This one right here is super quick. These 4 wires right here are for the top 2 120 mil fans. So these are just 4 screws. Slide them out, move them aside, and keep working around. So we're going to start with the top fans. Now the one thing I was pretty pissed about this case is I'm a big fan of push and pull configurations where you put 2 fans, one pushing air this way with a radiator in between, and then the other one on the other side pulling the air. To me, I think it's a more efficient way of moving air in and out, especially when you're huge into overclocking like me, and getting the maximum amount of performance out of your hardware. So when you can't do that configuration, kind of irritates me because, again, I'm limited. I'm very I'm put under a lot of limits to what I can do on this build. So this is why I'm going to a different case setup, and to avoid my limits, and that way I can void my warranties quicker. So top fan's removed. I'm going to leave the exhaust fan installed because I don't need it. The case comes with one, so I don't have to worry about that one. So here we got this fan right here, here, and here. So we got these 3 right here. So these are going to have to get removed. But see, now the trick on this one is if I remove both fans, the radiator comes out with it. So if I'm going to be very careful, I'm going to pop out very slowly this guy. This guy is the controller for the water pump and the RGB and the main module for the RGB. And then what I want to do to be safe, I want to unplug the main RGB USB controller off the board. Just, again, I want to avoid any drops, spills, anything that will damage my computer. Now, bring it over here. We're live.
Mm-hmm.
So,
why are you scared?
I heard the door open. It's not scary when you hear something open.
See?
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm gonna do? What?
I can't work.
Use my computer.
I can't. I tried to brush.
Why do you need that computer for Hydro Brush?
It's still connected? Can I
Yeah,
use
you
it?
can still use it.
I was like, I can't do anything.
Yes, you can. Okay. Since I'm already here, I'm gonna unplug the 8-pin and 6-pin for the video card. This is pretty much for the water pump. Again, be very careful. Bring paper towels to wipe down your what do you call it? Your thermal paste. You don't want thermal paste getting everywhere. Seriously. Can you give me a paper towel, please? So we got this, and then you'll see very little thermal paste. I never use a lot of thermal paste. It's not needed on builds. Very, very little is needed for actual cooling. I mean, again, a lot of people say, yeah, you need a lot of people say you don't. Me, I'm the guy who says you don't. Pea size is more than enough. Smear it and call it a day. Alright, so that's cleaned off. That's cleaned off, so I don't touch it and get everything everywhere on my computer. Next step here is to remove these two fans first. Oh, and Carlene, the computer is tinted, so you don't get to see all the lights as much. Yeah, pretty much you won't see all the crazy lights. Yeah, 47, I'm working on my wife's computer. That's why we're late. I got her a new case, so I decided to stream it live. Why not, you know? I'm always up late, by the way. I'm always up answering emails, replying to questions all night. You know, trying to help everybody out. Okay, so the AIO is coming out right now. So here you go. That's the water cooling unit that we're using for her. And I gotta move it somewhere out of the way. And then these two fans are gonna come out for next. Why'd you put those there? Huh? So Euro, and the Lancia Delta is Japanese. No, but it's a dope car. That's why I said to get it. It's a really dope car.
It's not European though.
It doesn't matter. It's a dope car.
You told me it had to be European.
Except for that one. Right. think it is.
It's Italian.
Oh, then it's European.
But I saw that it was manufactured in Japan.
Google it. Google
I
the
did
model.
Google it.
It's a European car, though.
You just said it wasn't.
I don't remember. Look it up. I like the Porsche, though. My wife went Hot Wheels shopping today. Got a bunch. Yeah, for our Patreon members, we collect a lot of European Hot Wheels to give to our Patreon members. Every 3 months, we give you guys a special Hot Wheel.
A super cool Hot Wheel.
A super cool one, too. We got some really neat ones. Again, my wife goes out and shops for them and buys as many as she can. So, because every Patreon member gets one every 3 months with a bunch of other cool collectibles that we create and give. Okay, so now fans are all removed. We're going to remove the video card. There's that guy. So now video card's removed. We can unplug the SATA cables next. Next stop will be the USB 3.0, the front panel, the audio. Okay. Then all we have left now will be the 24 pin and the 8 and 4 pin up here. And then that will give us the access to remove the motherboard. And then we'll pull out the hard drives. The 2 drives down here, the one on the back, and the board will come out. And then we're ready to build our new, and the power supply last, and then we'll be ready to build our new PC. Kind of new.
New for me.
New for her. Well, it's the same exact computer.
That's a facelift.
Yeah, facelift. We're giving her more weight. So now we're gonna give this little 24 pin some slack, pinch it, and then wiggle left and right and pull.
Who's watching?
I don't know. I responded to a couple people, but I don't know who's still watching. If you guys want to know, I've been building PCs for over 15 years. I've done super basic rigs to extremely tiny to full-on custom water. It's a fun hobby of mine. Where can you buy a head? You have to build it. Not many places will sell you a fully built head. If you can't even find one. You need to build your own head for that. Sorry, man. I have no recommendations for you. However, that being said, I can build you a head that'll make you that kind of power. As long as you pretty much pay for parts, I'll build you a 450 horsepower head that'll flow. And I wouldn't use an AWP. I would do an AEB head. Don't ever want to use an AWP head. AEB head is a way better option, and it makes way better. It does better job than an AWP. So honestly, go look for a Passat, 99 Passat an Audi and get an AEB head. Best head that you can get for high horsepower applications. So now we're removing the 4-pin and 8-pin CPU, like the power for the CPU. Okay. Remove the SSD. See, you replied. Let's see. How much coin cost me? Well, AB head. If you shop around at junkyards, you can probably get a head for like $75 to $100. You're looking at a full Supertech or Ferrera valve train, so that will run you probably $1,000 to $1,200 for a full valve train, maybe a little bit more. On top of grinding the valve seats and hot tanking it and decking it, you're probably looking just a little under $2,000. And you probably want to get some cams. So if you put that all together, you're looking at $2,000, maybe $2,200 for an entirely fully built, super high performance head that will probably make you your 400 way beyond that as well. Flow like a monstrosity. Boost will help you boost your turbo, like spool your turbo to high hell and beyond, and it'll let you rev to God knows when. So if that's what you're looking for, we can build that. Not a problem. What's going on, Luis? Just rebuilding my wife's PC here. Whether she wanted to or not, it's happening. Didn't break anything. Not yet. I guess this is like late night at Pinchao's garage. Is a computer building. Yeah, dude, hit me up whenever you can. I actually have a spare AEB head. Maybe I can build that one for you. I've been trying to consider building it for myself, but you know, time's a little hard right now, so it's sitting there for the moment. I don't know if I want to build it yet or sell it, but you know, it's up in the air. I've actually been meaning to collect those heads, by the way, but not very often you get old Audis or Passats here at the junkyard, so it's hard to find them. But just remember, guys, 99, 98, 99, and I believe 2000 Passats and Audis had these heads. So highly, highly recommend them. But do your research on them. They're super important to know why they make so much power. What do you mean, sound on good on me, bro? I'm sorry, I don't know what that means.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, sounds good to me. Ah, see, that makes more sense. Sorry.
That translates for you.
Yeah, no problem. God knows. All right, motherboard removed. All that's left are the power supply and the 2 hard drives sitting in the back. So, hard drive here. Oh, Luis, I'll message you later. I got you your prices as well. So, it's something I can't discuss online, by the way. Okay? I don't do this for everybody. All right, Luis.
Say talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later about that.
Pros.
Your computer froze?
No, my Dropbox pros.
Oh.
I don't know.
Alright, so power supply. This is why I hate this case. I can barely fit my power supply in here. It's so dumb. Such a dumb design. I have to remove the hard drive cage. It's just so dumb. This is such a tight space. Yeah, Luis, I would love to build you a 1.8T, buddy. Hopefully you guys saw that we got all the shifter stuff ordered. So I got the new short shifter for the Jetta, fully rebuilt bushings for the end links and the actual shift tower. So we're going to show you guys how to rebuild all that, plus install a short shifter. We also got a full base kit to build an entire battery relocation on the Mark IV as well. So we got a lot of new content coming, thanks to everybody on Patreon.
And new Hot Wheels.
And we got some new Hot Wheels too for you guys. So get ready for that.
For the new April box.
Yep, for April. Alright, so power supply is out.
My new hobby.
I know, Luis. I'm so close. I'm actually thinking about waiting on the wire tuck right now and just getting the car fired up and then doing the wire tuck afterwards. I've been actually considering that right now just because I want to get this car up and running ASAP. And I think I'm going to do that for right now.
So you can play with it.
So we can actually get your car broken into. And that way you can get your engine back. What do you think, Luis? You think that's a good idea?
I think
See, he thinks he loves that idea. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
it's been a while.
It has been a while, and I want this car up and running. I haven't been able to wrap the car because of the weather. So, I'm probably going to wait until pretty much the weather gets better so I can wrap it. But if I get this stupid car running and get you guys all hyped up for a running VR6 and a full exhaust on it, I think you guys would be super high.
It doesn't need to be wrapped for that. To run it, right? You don't have to wrap it to run it.
No, I don't have to wrap the car to run it, but I mean...
That's what I mean. Like, at least you can play the car.
This is but I'm with the rest of the Patreons. If it needs to be a bit longer, so be it. Again, it's your engine, Luis. It's like one of those things. It's like, I don't want you to keep waiting on your motor when it's just there. It's right there. I mean, if I can get your engine done and broken into, and then focus on the new engine after we get your car done. I mean, your engine all taken care of, and I go drop off your motor, and then help you install it on your car. Then we can focus again on the Patreon Jetta. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, my wife and the kids wouldn't mind taking a trip to San Francisco. Right, Ben? For a weekend and get his engine put in.
Unless they get my TDI tag. It's gonna be an expensive trip.
I agree with that too.
I'm not taking the Outlander up there with children.
They will have that car would be great. They'll just hate the noise.
No.
The
Or rat.
Louis says he feels like the wrap should be the last thing we do to the car, which I kind of feel that.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't because if you think about it, if we have the car wrapped and more people see it on YouTube, that would get more people to join the Patreon.
I think if you run it.
Well, that running it will be mandatory.
Yeah, but I'm saying if it's running, it's moving around, it works, and then it shows with the stock build, and then you're gonna build a big turbo on it. You can show the difference between both builds.
I can't.
Why?
Because I won't have both builds.
No, I'm saying if you run it and you film it, then they see the difference when you put the new one in.
Maybe. Again, those are all ideas. All right, this case is gutted. Exactly. See, more people looking at it is something that if we can get more Patreon members to get addicted to the build, we'll get more people joining in on the Patreon. So the more people we have on Patreon, the faster we finish the last engine. You know? Get people all hyped up, you know?
Tell the weather that.
Yeah, I hate the freaking weather right now. It's so bad. I mean, it's just one of those scenarios where we're kind of not in a rock and a hard place, but more just trying to make sense of what we do for the final phases of this car. Honestly, it's pretty hard to determine where should we start and stop and pause what we do. All right, so let's break down a full computer so that way you guys can see what you need for an entire computer. You guys can see this. There's not much for an entire computer whenever you build a computer. What ride management am I running? I'm actually running an old school Airlift V2 because it's actually reliable. I've never had a problem with it. I've heard nothing but horror stories with all the new air suspensions. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the new stuff. But I'm using Airlift V2 with a single 440 Vier a compressor, and then Raceland bags and everything else. I use, funny thing, all the fittings on all my airlines are actually for Semines. I don't use the cheap stuff online. I don't ever use the stuff that Airlift provides. It is garbage. That plastic stuff that Airlift gives is legitimately total garbage.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then the newer ones are just as bad too. The P3, the H1, and all the other ones. I don't hear no really good reviews with those products right now. I mean, I could be wrong, but from all my friends who've had it, a lot of them moved back to V2 because it just works, honestly. All right, so here's the new case. This is the 4000D Airflow from Corsair. The reason why I bought this, I actually built a computer for a customer today using this exact case, and I am super impressed on the build quality, the airflow, the space, the ease of access of everything in this case is phenomenal. Especially for the price. This case is amazingly priced. Like, it's a $90 case, and it's a mid tower, but it has the feel of a full tower because it has more space than a mid tower. So it's like a full mid tower. I don't know. It's a weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a great case. So what I like about it is that even though I pulled or unscrewed the screws back here, the glass panel is actually pinned. So you unscrew it and give it a pull, and then it pops out. And it's really cool because the pins are right here, the little ball pins, so they clip in place. So even when unscrewing it, you still have to hold it to take it out. Watch out, man. So you can see already right off the bat, this is a very, very roomy case. My other favorite thing is how the cable management works. It's nice. It's got actually, it's designed for flow. These have unrestricted little paths here, so it just works so much better for airflow. Again, I'm very, very happy and pleased with this case a lot. Magnetic little mesh top, really nice as always. The back cover comes off the same way. Unscrew it, pop it, and pull. Now the back management is kind of traditional to most cases. If you guys ever see, this is pretty much the standard lately now, where they have the little channels here to run wiring. You got your traditional USB 3.0, the new Type-C extender, HD audio, and your front panel pins. This is pretty much the industry standard now for connections. So that's really nice. You got all those connections. 2 spots to mount 2 SSDs. Very, very nice. Again, super, super simple. 2 spots right here to mount 2 mechanical drives. Really like that. Here's your box of accessories for installing all your parts. And again, traditional Corsair way of mounting hard drives. Literally just slide them on and clip, and it goes in. Really cool. So you just go like that. And then you pull back on this one, on this one, and your drive is done. Slide it in, one mounted. Same with this one. Super, super easy to install hard drives. Done. Both my hard drives installed. Next is to install the power supply. Now on this one, you have to remove the hard drive caddy because it doesn't fit very well. Just experienced it today with the other computer I just built. So it's just 2 little base screws, and I believe it pulls straight out. Yep, just like that. So yeah, kind of redoing the work twice, but just to show you, it's just 2 little screws, little thumb screws, and that comes right out. So the next step is to actually mount the power supply. So we mount our power supplies face down, in, just like that.
Why face down?
Because these guys, the fan sucks air from the bottom and initially comes up and goes out. Heat rises, so you want all your heat to go up slowly as possible and push out as fast as possible. So you don't ever want anything running hot on top because then it becomes stagnant hot air, like old school hard drive power supplies. But these guys, way to go. We got our screws right there for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, whenever I tighten screws, I literally go until they stop and just a little turn. Nothing, you don't need to put these on hard. I kid you not, every custom build computer that I get in here with the customer that brings into my workbench at work, best 2 out of 3 units, most of the screws are stripped because they use a screwdriver and just go and they just cram screws in there like, oh yeah, I'm the coolest thing. If you guys follow my Facebook page, the one computer I had just recently had a hard drive legitimately hanging and held on with a zip tie. And
If it's
the SSD was like literally sitting in front of the motherboard just hanging. The USB Type 3, like 6 or 8 out of the 12 pins were completely bent in half. I don't even know how. Luis, it's years, buddy. Years. I do this for a living, man. I build PCs for a living, and I do car stuff as a passion, you know? Exactly. Customers screw them in like tiny. You know, if it's straight, if it's cross-threaded, if it fits, it sits. I mean, no. So now that we have our power supply, our main connectors all done, what we're going to do is lay this down.
That should be our next sticker.
It's our next t-shirt.
Our next sticker.
As well as sticker. It should be like a t-shirt combo with Tiny's face on it. It just says if it fits, it sits. It'll be a top seller, I guarantee you. So, I am not going to be using this fan. We're going to take this guy out. I do not want this fan in here. That's funny. I should do that one too. I would say the cross-thread king. Instead of cross-dress king, you know, cross-threaded king. And just have a picture of a bolt going inside of a thread sideways. Oh man, it'd be so funny.
Little crown on it.
Little crown on it, yeah.
If it fits.
If it fits, it sits. All right. So for safety's sake, and pretty much for my personal just anxiety, I guess, we're gonna put the motherboard in. Oops. I like that too. I like that too, Luis. Crown bolted on top of a head sideways instead of it straight on. That'd be perfect. Okay, so now that I removed all the primary fans that I don't need, all the top fans, in this case it only comes with 2 fans, 1 intake, 1 exhaust. I don't need the intake fans that come with it because I have my own fans. So we're gonna now mount hold on, I need you guys to have a little more slack here. There we go. Hopefully that works. There we go. Now that we have this, now this motherboard that we're using is called an ATX motherboard. ATX motherboards are the nice and long ones, and then there's well, it says it all here: EATX, ITX, Micro ATX are all different sizes. So Micro ATX is this little tiny 4 pins. ITX is just as small, just not as long, just a little bit more tinier and square. Micro, and then there's ITX, which is ATX, which is longer, and then there's EATX, which is wider. These are all different styles of boards, designed based off of your needs for your builds, depending on what you're trying to build. You know, so we have just an ATX board. Come on, guy. There we go. All right. So now we got the board seated, not installed, just seated. What's really nice about this case, it has a centering pin. This pin pretty much allows you to set the motherboard in the middle of the case right before you actually install it. So, and the beauty of that is that way you can push the board as hard as you can to get everything lined up in its exact orientation. Then once you have that ready, what I like to do is I like to get the back screws, the upper right screw first. Now these screws, again, the moment you feel it snug, you're done. They don't require that much tension on here. Just don't ruin your setup, man. This is expensive stuff. Unless you got mommy and daddy paying for everything, by all means, do it however you want to do it, you know? But, you know, mommy and daddy don't pay for my stuff. So after you get those two, the top, so what I like to do is I like to do the top right, bottom right, and then the center, and then I work my way around because everything else will line up accordingly because you have these 3 back here pushing against the case to get them lined up correctly. A lot of people like to do it from back here. They don't line up really nicely over here. It becomes an actual headache. For any reason you feel like one of your threads isn't going in right, it's going a little snugger than normal, back it out and redo it. Plain and simple. So currently we have a motherboard, CPU, and RAM installed inside of a case. Just so you guys know where we're at right now. Oh, and a power supply. We have a power supply installed as well. Oh. All right. Now that we got the board installed, we give it a little tug just on the corners, just to make sure it feels like it's on there nice and snug. Don't yank it, but just make sure that it feels snug on the actual chassis itself, okay? So next step, move you guys back. Get you guys down low. Get you low, 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 low. No, as long as it's not the real song, you're good. That's how you get away from that.
Karaoke though.
Mm-hmm. All right, Luis, have yourself a good night, sir. Yeah, no problem, Luis. We'll talk about that later. So now that we got the board installed, the next step of this whole process is to get the 24 pin, the 8 and 4 pin up here next. So this is why I love this case. Yeah, magnetic screwdriver is 100% a must. So you'll see right here is the 24 pin. Feed it out a little bit. Line up your 24 and 4. I call it the 20 plus 4. Okay, now that we got it started, push down into it. Don't be super gentle, but slightly gentle. You see? Nice! Look how clean that looks. That ribbon looks really, really clean. You know, I like that. I like the way that looks. And now we're gonna run the one up top here. Now this one's a little tricky one because it's in the dumbest place ever. They've always put it here and I've hated it. It's like just so dumb. And why they put it right here. Why didn't they just design it where it's like right next to it? And I don't know. I don't know. So there's that. Okay, so now, I know, right? I love Mark IIs. Now, now we have our primary power is already connected to the unit. So now we have our 24, our 8 and 4 all set up. Now the next step is to get our water cooler orientation. Now a couple ways we can go about it. We can mount the water cooler on top. We can mount the water cooler up front. In my household, since it's a really dusty room, but it's a nice cool room, and the computer where it's placed is not in direct sunlight, so putting a water cooler up in front with the pipes going down and over is probably going to be the best orientation. I can mount it up here. I like it mounted up here more than I do down here. It's just, it really does depend on how can I explain, efficient it will work. For me, all the main cold air comes from the front, so I want the water cooler up in front because this is where the initial blast of cold air comes in. So for me, this is going to be the most optimal position to mount your water cooler is in this one spot up in front versus up here, because up here it is a good spot to mount a cooler, but remember all your hot air is going to come up from the power supply, video card, and then soak it through here, and so you're not going to optimize your cooling very much with water on top versus down over here in the front. So that's why we're going to stick with this orientation up here versus, up front versus on top. So now that being said, that's how we're going to mount it. So you'll see here, this is where the all-in-one unit goes, and this is where my water block will sit. And now what we need to do, so it's going to sit a little bit closer and on top, this is where the way it's going to look as it sits. So this to me is optimal versus going this way. I like this orientation more for aesthetics. This is more aesthetically pleasing to me because the lines look a little bit nicer. Just like this. You can run it like this, and to me this is more aesthetically like just really nice. I like the way this looks. I just overall look and feel of your build like this is way nicer in comparison to having it this way, because then your water lines are just here versus up here and they're more in the way. So it's kind of a hard decision, honestly. It's a really hard decision. It's actually kind of bugging me right now. I like both options. How about we get a vote? What do you guys think? Up in front or on top?
I don't get to say.
Well, okay, what do you want? Up in front or on top?
What is it?
Where the water line goes.
Wherever it's stay cool.
Both ways will stay nice and cool. It's just,
Wherever you can't see it.
well, you can see it in both options.
Doesn't matter then. Whatever you think is best.
Come on, I want some votes. I got 5 people watching. What do you guys think? Up in front or on top? Got you guys commenting. I want to see what do you guys want?
Whatever they want to learn how to
I got like the craziest mullet on freaking. Oh my god.
Wait,
Top.
wait,
top.
You have to wear a ponytail.
I know, I gotta get rid of this mullet. Alright, we're going top. That's what people want. That's where they're gonna get. Alright. So top it is. So top is going to be a little bit more work to mount, but again, not hard. So what we have to do first to top mount this is we mount this here. Alright, everybody voted on top, so let's go on top. What's the best way to break it in a fresh bottom end? Whew, it's a long process, buddy. Believe it or not. Has the engine been turned on yet? Have you actually turned on the car? That's the first question I have to ask. Alright, so I'm going to keep it more towards the middle. Okay, cooler on. Okay. Next step is to mount the fans. So, right here, quickest way to know which way your fans are supposed to go, spin it. See which way air comes out. If you spin it and the air comes out this way, that means the fan goes this way. Yeah, you guys will see the end result when we're done building it. So you just built a fresh bottom end. So we're gonna talk about a fresh bottom end break-in. Okay, it's a very, very slow procedure. Okay, guys. Step one: you're gonna fill the car properly with engine oil. However, substitute or get yourself a quart of zinc additive. Understand that. Listen to that, what that word is. Zinc additive or break-in oil. For your very first two oil changes. You're going to put it with 2050, understand that, 2050 motor oil, non-synthetic. So just standard motor oil, conventional oil, 2050. All right? And you're going to turn the car, pretty much you're going to put in the right amount of quarts, mixing in your break-in oil or your zinc additive. Read the bottle word for word. If it says 1 bottle for every 5 quarts, use the entire bottle first, then put the rest and make sure you just get to the proper amount of oil in your motor. Then turn the car on, okay? But do not run the car. Pull the fuel, okay, listen, pull the fuel pump relay, and you're going to crank the engine about three or four consecutive sessions to prime, because you have to prime all the galleys. You got to prime the oil pump. If not, your engine will legitimately just turn on and run with no oil. It's going to be the super, super dry start. So you're going to get fill the car up with oil, 2050 conventional oil with zinc additive. Pull the fuel pump relay, crank the car about 3 to 4 consecutive sessions, about 10 cranks per session. Once you're done, fire the car on. Let the car run or idle for 10 whole minutes. Okay? 10 minutes. Make sure the car is already on jack stands this entire time. This car is not on the ground yet. It's on jack stands. Alright? The moment you turn off the car, immediately go underneath, pull the drain plug, and inspect. Let it drain your entire oil and remove the oil filter. Inspect your oil the entire time it's draining, looking for chunks of metal. All right? Anything bigger than, I forgot the measurement. You have to look it up. There's a specific measurement. Pretty much anything bigger than super fine glitter is considered a failed bearing. That means you spun a bearing, or there wasn't enough oil pressure during the initial the initial startup, meaning you drove the engine, you built the engine way too dry, and now it's having problems. Okay? If everything looks beautiful, like you'll see glitter come out of it, okay? It's going to be normal. That's just what happens when turning on an engine that's fully built, brand new, fresh. The first oil change is going to have very, very, very fine glitter in it. And when I mean fine, it's like beach sand fine, like super, super fine. And that's okay. That's only for the first oil change. The first 10 minutes that car ran. Next, pull that oil filter out. Do another oil change. Okay? Now this is where we're going to call... hopefully you're writing this down. So write this down, whoever's reading, watching this, and listening.
It said the live stream ended on here. Is that okay?
Yeah, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Hey, got it. And like hit that one button, but don't touch anything else. Fill it back up with 1030 or 2050 again, conventional motor oil. We're not putting full synthetic in this engine, not yet. Now we're going to do what we call piston ring setting. We're going to set the piston rings. You're going to put a new oil filter, you fill it back up with oil. Make sure you have the zinc additive for this oil change as well. Okay? You're going to turn the car on, get the car on the road, and you're going to drive no more than 10 miles. But here's the catch. Find a hill. Alright? And what you're going to do is you're going to go up that hill as slow as possible in first, second, or third gear. Not going beyond 3,000 RPMs and not making any boost. Understand that. Do not make any boost. When you get to the top of this hill, you're going to let the car roll down. Put it in gear, first or second gear, and let it go down the hill of its own free will. Alright? Do not accelerate, nothing. Just put it in gear and let it accelerate on its own down a hill. What happens in this process is that you're allowing for pressure to build up in its natural occurrence without putting the car in any load. So you're not accelerating, you're not building boost, you're not doing anything besides using the transmission and the engine in its natural state rolling down a hill. What happens is that creates a positive pressure in the valve cover and pretty much the chamber, and that allows it to have what we call piston ring setting. I learned this from my buddy at Volkswagen, who actually pretty much repairs Volkswagen at dealerships and installs new motors, and this is what they do. So you do that for 10 miles and then go back home and drain the oil again. Inspect your oil again. Pull the oil filter out and inspect everything. Alright? Again, you're going to have very, very, very fine glitter, but that's it. Alright? Shouldn't be anything crazy chunky at all. If you're getting chunks of any type of metal, you built your block wrong, you seat your bearings incorrectly, you did something wrong, you did a step wrong somewhere during your bottom end build. All right, which means tear it all apart, redo it again. So if it's clear, now we're on to the next oil change. Again, the next oil change, now you're going to drop it down to, you're still in conventional oil. You're not on full synthetic at all yet. You're going to go down to 1030 or 1040W oil. This time, you're going to drive the car like normal, but no boost. You're going to go from, you're going to do 10 to 15 miles tops. Drive the car around, let it warm up fully, get about 10 to 15 miles in there, and then go home, drain the oil, inspect one more time. All right, now we're on to our fourth oil change now. This is where we start adding real mileage to your engine. Next oil change, you can stay with 1030 conventional or go to 1030 semi-synthetic. Not a full synthetic yet. We have to make our way to a synthetic oil. So the 1030 or 1040 semi-synthetic non-high mileage engine, non-high mileage oil, just standard oil. None of this stuff can be high mileage stuff. Put it in, normal oil change, drive 20 to 30 miles. All right. After you're done with that, general driving, no boost, no load. Understand that. This entire time that we're breaking this engine, you cannot be under any type of load or boost. After that, go back home, do your oil change again. Oil change number 5. Now you already did 30 miles. The next time, you're going to do 100 miles with a normal, semi-synthetic 1030, 1040 blend. Again, non-high mileage with a new filter. Drive it 100 miles, go back home, do your oil change. Okay, one more time, semi-synthetic, 1030, normal oil filter. You're gonna drive it 300 miles. Okay, hopefully you guys are writing this down. Yeah, it's a super expensive process. It's so annoying.
I have to replay the video.
Yeah. So do that, 300 miles. All right, you're done. Now we can go to 1030 full synthetic oil. Drive it 300 miles actually. Sorry, 300 miles. Change it, and now you're on your final oil change. This is the last one. This is the one. That's it. One more time, 1030. The brand new oil filter. Drive it 1,000 miles. Once you get it back, do your last oil change. Okay? You're good. You should have no glitter in the oil. You should have very, very clean oil to begin with. You shouldn't have any carbon or any type of black oil, like super, super black oil coming out of that oil pan this time around. Everything should be seated. Everything should be broken in. Now you can go put the car into boost and do whatever you want with it. This process was given to me by 2 other people. My buddy Jose Escobar, who built a 500 plus horsepower 2.0T Jetta GLI, and my friends actually at Integrated Engineering. They also pretty much certified that break-in process for me. So that has pretty much been the traditional way I've been breaking in all my engines now, and it's been 100% successful. My engine, Ian's engine, my previous fully built engine, now this new one for Luis, we're going to break it in for him that way. I know this method works. It's been tried and true by me. Personally, there might be other ways of doing it, but this is the way that I've been doing it, and it's been very good for me. So hopefully that works out. Now back to the computer. I know, right? That's a lot. It's a lot to talk about. But they asked me the break-in process. I gave them the break-in process. It's
Yeah.
long. I hate it. I hate
Yeah.
driving like a grandma.
Yes.
I hate driving like a grandma. The entire time. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Hopefully you wrote it down and
Replay the video.
you get it in your head that that's what you got to do. So we're gonna put this one here. Awesome, he wrote it all down. You, sir, are a saint. Thank you.
You get an A+.
You get a super A+. Big old cookie.
Star for the start.
A star. Obliterator 3000. Message me on Instagram or Facebook. Please, or email me at beachalsgarage.com and give me your address. I'll send you something. I'll send you something special, buddy. You gotta email me. BeachyAlsGarage. BeachyAls.garage@gmail.com.
PINCHE.
Alright? I'll send you something special, buddy. Because you actually wrote it down.
You got it. He's paying attention in class. Good.
Yeah, pay attention in class. Yeah. Love it. Good noodles get good rewards. I'm not even kidding you. I feel like I went back into time, man. My hairdo. I look at myself in the video. I seriously see myself what I look like in the 80s, in the early 90s. It's so like.
You feel young?
I don't feel young. I feel
You should feel
even
young.
older.
You should feel young.
I feel older because that's what I look like in the 80s and 90s, man.
No, but that's what you should feel younger.
It's the opposite, babe. I'm sorry. That's how long how old I am. I'm old. Because I remember my kid picture when I was a kid, and I see that hairdo.
Not bad.
It's pretty bad.
Blame your mom. She got to trim it aside.
Well, I mean, come on, you can't blame my
I
mom
just put
for not knowing. That was the style back then,
Did she tease it?
and apparently she tried to keep that with Alonzo still. Remember?
Yeah.
Like, you bought corduroys. Where the hell do you buy corduroys?
And then,
Like, who sells corduroys? Did you, like, deliberately have a time machine?
she special ordered them.
No, she has a time machine. I bet you she does. She probably had a time machine. Went to the past, like, oh, I gotta buy these corduroys for my nephew. Okay.
And she found them.
And she found them in the past. I mean, because they were famous back then. You know, they're popular gear.
Oh, God.
And she bought them back into our time, and
He had that little sweater vest for a while.
yeah, that again, in the 80s.
The brown one. With
Yeah.
With the black and white.
Yeah, again, the 80s.
Did you see yourself reliving the clothes? Maybe she saved your clothes.
I don't believe that for one bit. I wanted to save anything.
She saved them and said, I'm going to pass these down.
All right. So next step is to add thermal paste. I'm over that, so we're not talking about that anymore.
You are wearing your 80s shirt.
I love this shirt though. This is proper nostalgia. This is not.
There is a photo of you with a shirt.
I know.
See?
That's different though. I know it's like the same, but it's different.
It's so that shirt in your hair.
That's the problem. It's my hair
And the shirt.
and the shirt. All right. I'm going to talk about computer stuff now. So now, thermal paste. This is like the one key element that a lot of people mess up. All right. We use Thermaltake TG7 thermal paste. It's good stuff. It's not amazing, but it's good stuff. I like it. So what I do is I put a little bead right across the middle. Not a lot. And most of it ends up getting scraped off anyways with my little spatula. And what I do is I don't use the back end of the spatula. I actually use like the front end like this. And I apply pressure this way. And I push nice and hard onto it because I'm trying to spread it as much as I can across the CPU.
Does John Candid watch your videos too?
Not really.
I know you said he's learning too.
It's actually pretty good.
When he gets stumped on stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now you'll see, I'm spreading it out as thin as possible. Not allowing it to get really thick in any one area. And you see I have a ton of thermal paste there. I don't use a lot. It looks like a lot, but it's not really. So I spread it as thin as I can make it. And then that's it. Now you'll see some spots that are exposed a little bit. It's okay. Because what's going to happen is when I apply the heatsink onto it, it's going to pressurize it and it's going to spread out more. So we don't want, we don't want a ton of thermal paste. It's raining hard right now.
That's how it was earlier.
I know. Yeah. So now that the heatsink is installed, these are the cooling pipes. This is where hot water and cold water go around in circles. This is for the RGB controller. This is for the CPU sensor. Alright, Outlander 3000 sent an email, babe.
His name is Outlander.
Well, I don't know his real name besides his screen name, which is...
Do you have a car named after you?
No, Obliterator. I'm sorry, Obliterator 3000. That's close. So now that we have that,
Tell him to send his real name with it.
yeah, please put your real name in the email
If you didn't do it.
if you didn't do it, you know.
I can't check it because you have my computer.
That's true. So now I gotta fish this little tiny pin here. This is the one thing I don't like doing about having the water cooler on top. Makes it a little difficult to get some. Come on, buddy. Oh my god, I have space. Yeah, I added my name. It's from Mason1214 at Gmail. Okay, thank you, Mason. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, this is getting really annoying.
You're the one that gave him choice.
I know. There we go. Got him. Then, whew. Alright, ran back in. Okay. So now that we have CPU cooling done, we got all the main power connectors all connected. Next step is the 3 fans for the front, the front panel, my SATA connectors, video card, and then wire managing the back, and then get everything set up from there. Jeez, man. It's definitely raining tonight.
I want to start hailing. It's kind of chilly outside.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing you guys got to learn when you guys ever do fan installs is to
Yeah, you are.
I did nothing.
No air in here.
I am sorry. So when you install your fans, make sure to follow see where the wire comes out of the fan. Make sure it's always pointing where you're wanting to feed the fan. So in this situation, we want it on the bottom right hand corner. I am sorry. Just like that. I warned you in the living room.
It doesn't matter. Like this.
There's number 2. And last but not least, number 3. Now what I like to do is to make sure I can mount the fans as high as possible. That way top fan and bottom fans sit as high as possible. I know it's kind of a weird thing, but it's like, I don't know, it's just what I like to do when I build these machines.
So the air doesn't move the white.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what you're talking about. So there's one. We're just only going to put one screw at a time in here, so you guys can see my orientation. So you'll see all 3 fans are sitting as high as I can put them, from top to bottom. So what I do whenever I install fans, I never screw them all the way in, and I'll show you why. Because again, this is something that I catch a lot of PC builders do, because they just ruin their cases or their fans because they strip them, or they just don't know what they're doing. So what I do is I make sure that my fans are loose, meaning I can move them 100% freely. When I put all my screws in, all right, so all 4 8 12 screws are in. So now what we want to focus on, again, remember, as high as I can mount them, all the way up. So down here, put my screw in. Can't move them anymore. And then all of them go on snug. Never over tighten fan screws, because you can actually crack your fan, and then there goes your investment. And then you're gonna have a noisy fan, because it's gonna be vibrating to high heck. And the reason why I do this at the end and tighten them all down is I can determine the spacing between each fan much more accurately as I'm putting things together, pretty much. Okay, all the screws are done. Just push them in lightly. Make sure they're not vibrating. Okay, front of the case is done. So we can put on our new screen filter right here. Just like that. And we can put on our front cover. Just like that. So now, this I'm done with. I don't need to touch that anymore. Now we're going to go back to the bottom. So now we have to figure out, okay, how do we turn on and off the unit? How do we get USBs to work? How do we get the front audio to work? All that. So, aka our front panel. Because now it's looking like a whole monstrosity down here, pretty much. So now, pull your little Velcro little straps out completely, just like that. Because you're gonna need them in a little bit. You need to learn how to use all of these pretty quick. So let me tell you guys what is what. A lot of people get overwhelmed because, oh my god, this is so many wires. Well, the wires only go in one place. We're gonna go down the line from top to bottom. This guy is new generation technology. This is a Type-C connector for the front panel. It looks like a SATA connector, pretty neat looking. It's just a new technology that we're using to give you a Type-C up the front of the case. This is the USB 3.0 connector. This is called HD audio, or just the audio connector, so you can have your headphones and microphone work up in front. And these are what we call jumpers. Now this one, power switch, reset switch, and then the power LED. Some of them will give you hard drive LED, speaker, as all part of this wiring setup here. So, but this is a very basic case, so we got a lot of basic connectors. So typically what I do is I get the thickest one first, because this is the furthest one. This is the audio cable. And I fish this one always towards the back, right here. That one's done. And next is the USB Type 3, which is this guy right here. This guy actually goes right over here quickly. All right. So now we have 3 hard drives. So we got to make sure 3 work. I think the video feed stopped. Oh no, it's still going. Okay. So we got 3 connectors, 3 SATA connectors. One, 2, and 3. Now, never use the 90-degree ones on the motherboard. You'll see these 3 right here. They're flat. They go towards the back. We have a 90-degree and 2 flat ones. All right. The 90-degree ones is for the hard drives that are sitting higher up. The flat ones are for things that are sitting either flat or that you can bend nicely. Never use the 90-degree on a motherboard because you will damage your board pretty quickly. So now we got all 3 hard drives ready to be plugged in. That part is done. Next step. Let's bring this back over here. We need to get the front panel connected. Forgot about that. So we need to bring those 3 wires over here. It looks like a mess right now, guys. Believe me, it will look way different when I'm done. So these are the front panel connectors that we were talking about earlier. So again, since I've been doing this so long, I know where everything goes. Power switch is always the top right 2. Reset switch is always the bottom, middle 2. Power and LED, top left 2. If you never know what the wires belong to, pull out your owner's manual. It will tell you exactly where everything goes. So we got front panel, we got that. We got to hook up our RGB controller. This uses one of the host USB spots. Like that. All right. Next is the video card. This is an FX 590. I love this card. It's a really, really good video card. From when we got it, and currently still a good card. Yeah, have a good night, man. Mr. Obliterator 3000. So we're gonna pull out these screws for what we call PCI covers, or grab the card, slide it in ever so gently, get back our thumb screws here. Now, I didn't even tighten the screws down yet. What I like to do is I grab the card, kind of hold it a little bit, tighten the screw down again. Once you feel the screw bottom out, give it a little tighten, that's it. Video card is mounted. Nothing crazy, guys. It doesn't need to be going on super tight. You don't need to freaking strip the threads on these. So there's that. Now, video card, next step is to get all our wiring organized in the back and pretty much make everything work. And this is where the magic happens. This is what everybody freaks out from. Because they see this. It's like, oh my god, there's so many wires. Yeah, this is what scares people during a PC build. Because this is the point where you're just like, what do I do? Where do I go from here? Yeah, it gets scary. It gets pretty scary from here. But this is what all the magic settles in here. So we have to understand what goes where, why it goes there, separate what you don't need and what you do need, and move things out of the way so you can organize better. So, like these batch of wires right here, these are the fan and RGB. So we know that already right off bat. So we can separate these from everything else. These two right here, this one right here, and these guys over here are all fan. So now we're just left with front panel, power supply, and accessories. See how easy that was to separate everything from each other? Very, very simple once you understand what goes where. So right here, this guy, we're going to organize this batch of wires first. Now again, I love this case because of this wire strap that they provide. It is so cool. So, right there, look at that. Already a vast improvement. And then we move this group of wire. Same thing. Bunch everything up together, nice and neat. I haven't brought the zip ties out yet. That's next. Okay, now we're working our way down. Look how beautiful that's looking already. Okay, so I was unable to use this specific wire. So what I do is I bring it up as part of my little flappy flap here. Like that. Tuck it in here. Again, out of sight, out of mind. Just like that. Now we're down here. Now, what happens is that you have this little group of wires here for your front panel controller. See this? Now, if you don't want to damage anything, don't pull on them. Just get them snug. That's all they need. Just a little tug, not a yank, but a nice little tug. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful wire management right there. Already halfway done. So much less stressful now than what we had before. So I'm trying to figure out how much of this wire I can tuck over here to the right. Out of sight, out of mind. Nice and organized. Now we have our SATA cables. We will organize these as we finish up our wiring. I think that one will reach there. This one's the exhaust fan. So right here, this is where we're going to start using zip ties now. When using zip ties, always consider what you're going to add and remove when you're managing your wires. What you think you're never going to, not technically never, but what you're never going to need to move out of the way. You're going to think about what needs to group together as a little community, or in the order. Now, this RGB controller or RGB box right here, this guy, the Commander, they are pretty much in numeric order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very, very, very important, guys, to know that. And the reason why, that is the order that the colors or your RGB lights are going to go in. So either you want them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm a left to right guy, so I'm going to start from the bottom fan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So very, very important for you guys to know that. This seems like a really good spot right here, out of the way, and it's really easily mounted right there. So I'm going to use this very specific spot to mount it. I like it. It's not crazy in the way. So by default, this fan right here is number 3. So we're going to put it on number 3. Here, RGB, number 3. Just like that. Now what's going to get really annoying, because this groups up in a really bad way, so you have to get in a habit of trying to keep everything organized so it doesn't take over the way your case gets managed. I love you.
Killing me.
I'm sorry.
I apologize in advance.
You know, it is what it is now. I can't stop it.
I can't leave.
Okay.
Creeps up on me.
I know. Again, I am sorry.
No, you're not.
I am. Because I am suffering with you.
It's yours.
I know it's mine. But I'm suffering. Yeah, that's how I feel. So we're gonna put this guy right here. Stop. What?
I don't know how you can continue.
I can't. I have to. I need a working computer for you. That's what keeps me going.
You're too far in. You're too far in.
Yeah. I'm too far.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel right now. Oh. So I gotta go get my bag of zip ties. And pretty much we're almost done here, guys. Almost done. And I'm sorry, I love my wife so very much right now. She's the trooper right now, guys, just so you know. She's the trooper. Holding one for the teeth.
Uh-huh.
All right. So again, SATA connectors we don't touch. Here's the first zip tie. And these suck. I forgot to get the smaller ones, so I have these gigantic zip ties.
You have a little container of them.
Yeah, but they're not black.
No, they're colored.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No,
They have to be black.
you can go with all the other color and things.
You can't see the other color back here. It's just a form of coordination, my love. You can't add other color.
No! Fucking
Hey! I gotta tell Tiny, no cussing.
I didn't use all my stuff.
Little piece right here. Fold it over. Nice and clean. Alright, now we're down to these guys. And accessories. Not too shabby. See, look at that. Alright, next step is to tighten the wires over here on this corner. Don't be modest with your zip ties. Use them. They are your superpower when doing this. Use them to your advantage. That's what they're here for. Take advantage of the organization and the cleanliness of using zip ties. Okay, so I could tighten this one up a little bit. Yeah, I will. Just leave the one zip tie right there. Just leave the one right here in the middle. Okay. That looks pretty good. I am pretty satisfied with this setup right here. So now we're going to install our hard drive cage. Right now, I am pleading for forgiveness from my wife right now.
There you are.
Pleading for forgiveness.
I think I deserve more than the kids.
Wow.
The fact you gotta pre-warn me on that one. This is gonna be bad.
It's actually not that bad. Just saying. Still pleading though. So now this SATA connector, we're gonna run to the bottom hard drive. Remember that, guys, bottom hard drive. Okay? The next SATA connector to the top hard drive. That's what that 90 degrees for, buddy. Okay. This guy is for our SSD. That's going to be mounted right here. Ready?
Yeah. That was terrible.
Got all the work done. I'm almost done here too.
Then you have to plug it in.
Yeah, when I'm done.
Shape Pro. It is better thing.
Hmm?
I think it's a PC Pro.
Oh. Alright, so now we have 1, 2, 3 SATA connectors that we need to use to power the pretty much the hard drives. So we typically, the way I would do it, so I do the 2 hard drives off of one rail and another hard drive off the other rail. Every one strand of connectors I call rails. It's just a term that I've always used. So that's all plugged in. I gotta run my power to my video card. This guy right here. Bring this back over and under. Alright. That's done. Bring it back down. Stuff the remainder of the cables right in this little pocket. Just keep watch on what you pull on, what you do. And now we put the back cover on. This is the top cover. Bring this back over. Now you guys can see, before I put the new cover on it, what we built together. Nice little rig here. Beautifully organized.
Nice and clean.
Nice and clean. Spacious. That's what we built it for space. This is what matters, guys, when you guys build computers. Now how much tiny space you can get, how much maximum space you can get. I mean, this right here was literally on the GPU. That is not the way you should have a fan next to it. This is so much better. Just so much better. Just overall, I'm just so happy that this case exists now, that we actually carried it at work. I'm actually considering throwing a zip tie right here, keeping them right there. See how that looks. The zip tie. That looks horrible. Never mind. I'm gonna cut that out. That looks really bad. Okay. But just overall, cleanliness is just, it's amazing. Night and day difference in the way this case looks. Excuse me. My favorite thing, the tinted glass. This is all nicely super dark tint. Just less stuff to see through. So it sits nice on top here. Clicks in. So satisfying to feel that. Pull the last corner. Voila. That is a gorgeous, simple case. I am very impressed with Corsair's, especially price number one, simplicity of the build, aesthetics. I mean, everything about this is just, you guys hit it on a high note, Corsair. Thank you. You finally listen to freaking gamers, by the way. And enthusiasts. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, clean PC. Ah. Happy. So happy. Oh, so satisfying. Done. Now let's plug it in. Bring you guys over here to my wife's little Little desk station. So me and my wife work in the same office. We work together. We do everything together. That's your little spot right there. Slide this guy down here. Flashlight. All right, and what? No, yeah, my turn, bro. Look at that. It's a nice. Get you guys down low. You guys can see this. Nice setup, plain and simple, nice and tinted. Yeah, not very bright though, which I'm happy about. Once it boots into Windows, this will all change. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Fully built rig. Well, transferred everything from one build to another. Very, very satisfied on the outcome of it. There we go. That's how her setup sits. It's got that blue and white. I like it. It's plain and simple. Nothing crazy. Alright. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you learned something today. I love, again, this is something I do. This is my primary passion, is building PCs. It's a lot of fun. It's simple. It's exciting because it's new and you can get a lot of cool stuff. So thank you for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Peace out and be safe out there, all right?